Okay, and let's just start off today's episode, which is actually the third episode in Teacher Talks program. Let me start off, guys, this session with just a simple thought I need to share with you before we start, which is the idea that there is always room for development. And correct me if I'm wrong. The idea that we as teachers uh, are lifelong learners. Really, we need always to simply learn techniques and strategies to make the learning journey for our students more meaningful, more effective. We need simply to always explore new techniques to make the lessons better for our students and for ourselves as well. Believe me, if you know techniques of teaching, then believe me, you start finding the teaching process easier than ever. So it's, I believe, like a win-win situation. You you do it for your students, and you also benefit from the idea of making the process itself easier. And in today's episode, actually, we'll focus on the idea of making the learning process more meaningful, not mechanical, because it's always not about moving from one task to the other one mechanically. No, it's not about that. It's all about making it more effective. And Mr. Muhammad Sabr, inshallah, will actually delve into this topic and will share with us practical techniques of how to make our lessons more effective, as I told you. And for those who don't know, Mr. Muhammad actually is a master's candidate, and he's my colleague, by the way. We both
Yes, yes.
yeah, yes, learn at this one at the Arab Academy. We're taking our masters. Inshallah, we're gonna take it very soon. Pray for us. Wish us luck, inshallah, to take our master's degree very soon. So he's actually an ESP candidate, master's candidate, and a CELTA holder, a Delta holder, and he has more than 15 years of teaching, and he's now a teacher trainer and an English trainer as well at the Energy and Water Academy at the Saudi Arabia. So, with all this experience, inshallah, I'm pretty sure that you will benefit from what he's going to share with us today, inshallah. And let me welcome you, Mr. Muhammad, and thank you, first of all, thank you for really
You're
accepting
most
the
welcome.
invitation.
And thank
Thank
you,
you for being
everyone who's attending now. Thank you so much. And hopefully, we all, as Dr. Sarah said, learn
here.
something from today's session because it's a kind of share, information among all of us. And let's start immediately. Um, okay. Can you see my presentation?
Oh, yes, perfect.
Okay. Okay. Great. Great. So, as Dr. Sarah said, our session today, inshallah, is going to be about turning our sessions or turning our tasks from being mechanical to meaningful. So this is our agenda today, inshallah. So by the end of this session, you're going to be able to define what metacognition is, distinguish between cognition and metacognition, use plan, monitor, evaluate to support learner regulation, upgrade some kind of task. So it's going to be something practical today, inshallah. You're going to yourselves, you're going to change some mechanical tasks into more meaningful ones. And finally, as I said, you're going to apply at least one practical metacognitive strategy to a lesson. So let's start immediately by a task. Okay. I would like you guys now to have a look at this very short piece of writing. It's actually a reading passage, a small one. Of course, I'm not testing you, but I'm putting you into the shoes of learners. So you can actually answer through, participating. You can open up your microphone and speak immediately, or you can share your answers in the chat box. So if I now your teacher, for example, and you are my students, and I ask you this question directly. Read this short text below, answer the questions, and then compare your answers with a partner. So this is the reading passage, okay? And down there we have some questions like how often do some employees work for home and so on. First of all, if you are my students now and I'm your teacher, and I'm asking you now to read this very short piece of this very short reading passage and answer the questions down there. Give yourself some time to have a look at the reading passage and have a look at the questions. Of course, I'm not asking you to answer, but I'm giving you some time, maybe a minute or a minute and a half, just to have a look. So please do now. Okay. Have you had a look at the reading passage and the questions?
Yes.
You can. Good. Now the question is, okay, someone. Okay, thank you so much, Miss Al Shayma. But again, I'm not asking you to answer any questions. The question now is, what is happening right now when I, as a teacher, asked you guys as students to answer some questions? What happened? What was the task type? You can share your answers through opening the microphone or writing in the chat box. Tell me what I told you, what you were doing exactly.
I think a mental process takes place while reading the text in order
Hmm.
to comprehend it, to
That's
answer, to
wonderful.
be able to answer the questions.
Amazing. Okay. Very good, Mr. Hassan. Thank you so much. Okay, Miss Mariam, amazing, giving some kind of instructions. Wonderful. What else? Okay. It has something to do, yes, with cognition. Yes, it is considered a cognition task. Because students, of course, are doing something. Very good. Hmm. Anyone else? Hmm. Okay. So it was a very simple task, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Straightforward.
yeah, so the teacher asked the students to read, locate some information, answer, then a check. So actually, the learner is mainly following a predetermined procedure, right? There is nothing
Mm.
wrong with the task. It can be useful for checking comprehension and practicing specific reading skills, as Dr. Hassam said. I'm not going to clarify anything right now, but I'm going to ask you again to have a look at this task. Now, the question is, read the text and answer the questions. Give evidence from the text for your answers. Again, I'm asking you these questions based on the same reading passage, but have a look at the instructions and have a look at the questions before I ask you the following question. Again, you have 1 or 2 minutes to check the questions and the instructions. Okay, time's over. The question now is, it is the same following passage, right? Yes, Mr. Jamal said the questions are more cognitively challenging. Amazing. It gives us time to think. Wonderful, Miss Mariam. What else? More cognitive involvement. Wonderful. I do agree. Anyone else? Again, feel free to open up your microphone and speak.
More lexical difficulty.
Yes, 100%. Okay. It's not just about the text, it's about real life. Wonderful, Miss Mariam. I do agree with you. Very, very good. What
More
else?
critical thinking and analysis.
100% yes. Perfect. Good, good, good.
It kind of also appeals to higher cognitive skills, like inferring,
Yeah.
interpreting, and finding evidence.
So it's a matter of lots and lots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So higher order thinking skills and lower order thinking skills. Amazing. Wonderful. Okay. So as you said, the learner now has to infer, interpret, connect ideas, justify. So the focus now is no longer simply where is the answer. It becomes what does the text mean and how I can justify my interpretation. Wonderful. Again, I promise you I'm not going to give you more questions, but this is last task here. Look now at the question or the questions, and again, on the same reading passage. You are managers at a company, and your company is considering allowing employees to work from home 3 days a week. In groups, decide whether you support the idea. Identify two advantages and two possible problems. Agree on three rules that would make working from home successful. Present your group's recommendations, and students must use information from the reading to support their ideas. Again, last task. Look at the question type this time, and again, think of what changed, what happened this time, please. You have a couple of minutes.
Well, of the top of my head, I see that this has become a much more personalized, much more student-centered, and not just reacting to a text, reading it, and then giving answers, but debating with other students. So it creates more opportunity for interaction with colleagues.
So compared to the previous two tasks, is it more meaningful?
It is much more meaningful because now I'm talking about my own company. It has to
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
meaningful. It now
Yeah.
relates to me, myself. Even if I imagine I have a company, would I allow my employees to work remotely or not, and how much, and what are the advantages and disadvantages? It gives us a
Exactly.
lot of opportunities to debate.
I can't agree more. Thank you so much, Am Jamal. I'm not gonna say Mr. Jamal. Am Jamal. Okay, that's really wonderful. Anyone else, guys, can or wanna add something else?
Actually, I think it gives more space for learner agency and the communicative
Yes,
use of the language.
very
So
good.
the students are able to speak confidently and the language in a communicative way.
That's really, really amazing. Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Hussam. So, what happened, as you said, the reading now is used or is being used to understand information, exchange ideas, negotiate, reach an outcome. So the purpose now is not simply to demonstrate comprehension, but the language is being used to accomplish something. So now, Look at the three types of the questions on the left here. And above we have cognitive, mechanical, and communicative. In just 30 seconds, try to work alone to match each question type with its task. Is it communicative? Is it mechanical? Or is it cognitive? And of course, you can type the answer in the chat box if you want.
The first one is mechanical. Second one is the one that asks for evidence is more cognitive, but the third one is communicative.
Okay. Do you agree with Am Jamal?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Anyone has a different opinion?
Communicative is the best, or cognitive is also acceptable? I'm just curious to know.
All of them actually, all of them are acceptable because each type has its own job. Okay. So as we said, Dr. Sarah, first of all, yes.
And we
Someone
can
has a question?
integrate the three of them in
Yes,
one lesson.
100%.
So we start with something mechanical and they go into cognitive, and then finally have the communicative purpose.
Yes, that's it. So when I say mechanical, it's not, or it doesn't mean it's something bad or it's something that I shouldn't use. No, I should use it. As Mr. Hussein said in the very beginning, we use it just to ask or when I would like my students to answer some comprehension questions, for example. So they are going to read, they are going to locate some information, and they're going to answer. But as Mr. Jamal said, if I would like to work more on their cognitive skills, so here I'm going to ask them to answer some questions more beyond the reading passage itself. But when it comes to be more communicative, so here I can make a replicate real life application. I can make my students talk about the real life and so on. So as Mr. Jamal said, I can combine three of them actually into one task. And this is the core of our session today. If you have a reading passage and you have a textbook, sometimes the book asks students to read and then to answer some questions, but you as a teacher has something to do with, enhance your students' cognitive skills and work on this kind of skill by asking them some inferent questions, some critical thinking questions in order to make all of them communicate much better. So
I have something to say here, Mr. Saber.
Sure. Yeah.
This conjured, coming up with an image that can describe the whole situation. Like if we're making a cake, okay? First we have the ingredients, that's the mechanical part. Making sure that you have the ingredients. And then the cognitive part, how are we going to put the ingredients together? Right?
Sure.
And the communicative part, now we are eating the cake that we have cooked already.
Exactly. That's like an amazing example. MashaAllah. So as you can see now, when I say mechanical, it means how can I find the answers, for example? Cognitive, like infer, interpret, and justify answers. Can I make sense of the text, not just answering some questions? And finally, to make it more communicative, can I use the information to achieve a purpose? Can I eat the cake that I have just made myself? And that's it. Now, the last type, which is the metacognitive one. Now, let's upgrade the task.
Before we go to the last one, Mr. Saber, I have something to say here.
Sure.
Now, if we say the mechanical is the first round that we are dealing with the text, like the comfort zone. And the cognitive one is the one where I go deeper into the meaning and higher meanings. And the last one is the actual free practice, how I'm using it, relating it to me as a student.
100%. Because in the past, I used to ask my students, Mr. Jamal, to answer a question. And then, okay, we are done. That's great. I give my students feedback. And then I move on to the other task. We are done with it. So I move on to the third task and so on. So I felt like my lesson is just mechanical. It is something very boring. But I now try to do something much deeper. Whenever I am done with the task, I ask my students to reflect on their own learning. How, guys, did you do this? How did you reach the answer? Which technique have you used, and so on. So here I'm working on their cognitive and metacognitive skills.
Yeah. And even if they make
Yeah,
mistakes, I would ask them to find out why they made a mistake. What red herring gave them away and made them go
exactly.
down the wrong path.
So instead of like spoon feeding the answers, yes, as Mr. Jamal said, I need my students to reflect, to go back a little bit, to step back, to see what was wrong, what worked and what didn't work, and so on. Okay. So if I would like to upgrade the task, so we need to make learners think about how they approached the reading itself. And here, when I say upgrade the task, I'm here working on the highest level, which is their metacognitive skills. So here I need to divide the task into three very important parts. Number one, before my students actually start doing the task itself, and I'm going to call it the plan stage, I need my students to think of some questions like, for example, what do you already know about working from home, for example, as a student? What do you expect the text to discuss? What is your purpose for reading? What strategy will you use to get the main idea quickly? And I used this strategy today when I was teaching my students in the early morning. Before they start answering the question, I said, guys, what are you going to do? What technique are you going to use? Some of my students said, oh, we're looking for a name. So, teacher, I'm not going to read everything. I will just look for some specific information, for example. So, this is the technique that he or she is going to be used later on. And while reading or during reading, my students are going to monitor their own progress. Like, for example, they're going to ask themselves some questions. Do I understand the main idea? Where did my understanding break down? Do I need to reread this part? Can I work out the meaning from the context? Or do I need to change the strategy, for example? And once they are done, as Mr. Jamal said, was my reading strategy effective? Do I need to change anything? What did I have difficulty? What did I do when I got stuck, for example? What will I do differently in my next reading, and so on? So we need to do the task, okay? And then the shift is going to be think about, yes.
Yes, Mr. Sabar. I was also thinking that some of the students find it difficult, the reading and the listening, because they think that they need to know the meaning of each and every word, and they have to read and listen to each and every word, which is time-consuming and counter-effective.
Yes, I do agree with you, Mr. Jamal. So here when I say do the task, this is too mechanical, right? But when I say think about how you do the task, here I'm shifting from mechanical to, can you guess the word?
Meaningful.
Yeah, meaningful, metacognitive, and so on. So I'm moving from being mechanical to metacognitive.
Cognitive.
So the question is, what is metacognitive? Can you
What I
guys give
understand,
me?
yeah, I was just going to answer
Yeah.
this question.
Yeah, sure.
Metacognition is, for me, I don't know if I'm right, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It means finding out how I got through the answers. What good did I do and what bad and why? How did I reach this result?
So you're
What are the
thinking
best
about,
strategies? So
so
I'm
Jamal,
thinking
so you're
about
thinking about
my methods and my thinking.
exactly, and this is actually the very simple definition of metacognition. Thinking about thinking. That's it. So metacognition can be simply defined as thinking about and regulating your own thinking and learning. See the difference here. Was the action fun? This is very simple. This is very mechanical. So you can say instead, What strategy helped? Did you like the lesson? What will I do differently later on or next time? So I'm here not just thinking, but I'm thinking about my own thinking. Okay, so as we said, this is the simple model: plan, monitor, and evaluate. And this is actually the main difference between the mechanical task and the metacognitive one. As you can see here, I plan, I read, I monitor, I answer, and after that, I evaluate. And here is some, information about the difference between cognition and metacognition, because cognition has something to do with the type of task you're doing. Like, for example, or the cognitive skills you own or possess, like understanding a text, recalling some information, forming an argument, or producing language, whereas the metacognition is thinking about and regulating your own thinking, like you are monitoring, you're evaluating, you're planning, you're choosing the best strategy.
I have another image here, Mr. Saleh.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Like when in metacognition is like when I'm driving and correcting myself if I make a mistake before it becomes too fatal. So I am learning from my surroundings. I'm slowing down because there is a hump. I'm speeding up because I have to, or I have nothing in front of me. So there are places where I will slow down and there are places where I will speed up, depending on the conditions of the road. So that's meta thinking, metacognition.
So Jamal,
taking clues and finding what my mistakes are. What?
I cannot hear you.
Are you sure? Can you hear me now?
Hi, weird. I can hear you very well. Maybe Mr. Muhammad has some issues with the internet. Is it okay, Mr. Muhammad, now?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you very well.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jamal, but I didn't hear. I had an internet problem. Can you say it again, please?
Yeah, I was thinking about this metacognition. It's like when someone is driving their car and from the clues around them on the road, sometimes they have to slow down and sometimes they have to speed up because they are thinking about their own driving. They are not just driving anyhow, like driving in the desert. So the mechanical driver is just driving. He's not looking around. He's not giving himself feedback. He's not looking in the rear view mirrors. But the metacognitive driver would be looking at all those clues to adjust and fine-tune their driving.
Wonderful, wonderful. MashaAllah, Mr. Jamal, you're giving us a lot of images today. Just to summarize, each and every single piece of information we said today. Thank you so much for this fruitful participation. And the question now is each of these tasks mechanical or metacognitive? I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes to think alone, please, and then we're going to discuss it together. Just say whether it's mechanical or metacognitive.
I can spot 2 metacognitive and 4 mechanical tasks.
Okay. Okay, guys,
actually,
are you all done?
Actually, 3 and 3. 3 and 3, actually.
I was about to say this. Yeah. 3 and 3, yeah. So the first one, which part of your writing will you check first and why? This is what? Mechanical or metacognitive?
Metacognitive, of course.
Okay, yes. And also Miss Mariam wrote in the chat box, amazing. What about number 2?
What does the question say?
Which strategy will you use to identify the key information?
Metacognitive, I guess.
Yes. Okay, great. What about the third one? Write your paragraph and submit it.
It's mechanical,
Very
I guess.
mechanical, yeah.
Yeah. Discuss the question with a partner.
Mechanical.
Amazing. How will you make sure you support your opinion?
Metacognitive?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Underline the keywords.
Mechanical, of course.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Zainab, for your participation. So, as you said, and as also Mr. Jamal said, we have 3 and 3, 3 mechanical and 3 metacognitive. Very, very good. Very good. Now, this is the last activity that we need to do. But this time you're going to be divided into breakout rooms so that you can take your time to discuss together. All I would like you guys to do is I'm going to show you some tasks now, and you're going to choose a task to work on. All you need to do is read the task, identify what is mechanical, apply the plan, monitor, and evaluate model, and try after that to prepare a 2-minute share with all of us. Here we have 4 tasks: vocab, speaking, reading, and writing. Choose whatever you want and try to shift it from being mechanical to being metacognitive, okay, using plan, monitor, and evaluate a model. So I highly recommend that you should take a screenshot now, because when I divide you into breakout rooms, you're not going to be able to see the screen. So please take a screenshot. And now I'm going to divide you into breakout rooms. Okay, please accept and join the breakout rooms, please. Yes, so breakout room 2, please, Miss Fatima. Yes. Miss Marwa. Rabhi, please. Miss Zainab, Miss Shaima, please join the breakout room.
Hi. What are we supposed to do now? Mrs. Shaymat, Mrs. Marwa? Guys? Mrs. Shaymat, Mrs. Marwa, What are we going to do now? شباب هنعمل ايه دلوقتي؟ مس مروة، شيماء، anyone? Hello?
Did you have enough time to do the task? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yes,
because
yes.
I don't know, I'm just having some problems with the internet connection. Okay, so did you have enough time to do the task?
Yes, the time was sufficient.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Sam. Of course, for the sake of time, here we have some answers to some tasks, the vocab one and the speaking one. Like for example, here, this is one example of upgrading the speaking task. So instead of saying discuss whether university students should have part-time jobs, you can actually ask yourself as a student, what do I already know about this? What vocab will help me? During doing the task, you can ask yourself, am I giving reasons? Am I responding to my partner? And finally, how effectively did I communicate and what will I improve next time? That was the end of the test, or I'm sorry, of the task or the session itself. And here, I would like you guys to use this later on and think about this later on when you start assigning some tasks for your students using this kind of model. And now I would like you to scan this code and write your final reflection, which is only 2 questions. One thing I used to do mechanically was, and now I could make it more meaningful. I'll give you 1 minute. Yeah.
Dr. Muhammad, yes, I'd like to add something
concerning
questions. You can add, can the students use the language effectively?
Okay. Again, Mr. Hussam, I didn't hear you well.
Yes, and can the students use the language effectively after teaching that language?
What language?
The language that you teach. I mean, and you teach a lesson, you write it, you enjoy, whatever is the questions. Can you add another question related to the students? Can the students use the language effectively?
Yes, why not?
Okay.
Yes, why not? But again, it's all about reflection. So whatever the question is suitable, or whenever the question is suitable, you can definitely use it, as long as this question will have a positive impact on their language and on their cognitive skills. Okay. So do you have any other questions now? I don't know whether you hear me or not.
We can hear you, but it seems we have no questions.
Okay, here is a question, just Dr. Muhammad, related to the mechanical way. Do you think it's important to resort to this technique in our classrooms, or in other words, does it reflect the differentiation that we may use in the classroom?
I tried to shift using my hotspot because I did have some
I
problems.
mean the mechanical technique. You say the mechanical technique. Is it important to show a sort of differentiation in the activities that we present
Yes.
to our students?
Yes, 100%. When it comes to differentiation instructions, students at the same time. So yeah, why not? When you have like much stronger students, for example, so you can work more on their cognitive and metacognitive skills. While the low achievers, you can actually ask them some very simple questions, some mechanical questions. So yeah, so you took it beyond our lesson today, which is going to be really meaningful in your classroom. So using it to scaffold your teaching. Like, for example, low achievers are not going to be comfortable with the metacognitive questions, while the low achiever ones are going to be much comfortable. Yes, wonderful. Any
So
other
you mean
questions?
we can start with the mechanical techniques, and we end with the metacognitive technique.
Sure, yes. And I always do this in my classes, to use these kinds of cognitive skills after almost every stage, especially when it comes to a receptive skill lesson. Like when I ask my students to listen, for example, so instead, when I ask them to listen, actually, so it's a kind of just testing them. So when I try to improve their listening skills, so here I always ask them questions like this: what strategy did you use? What helped you to improve your listening? What worked well? What didn't work well? So yeah, I always do actually, and it has a profound impact on my students' level and skills.
And I think when you start with the mechanical technique, the students gain more confidence, and that will allow the teacher to go with the more difficult and cognitive questions and techniques.
I can't agree more. Yes, yes, 100%. So as Mr. Jamal said, it's a kind of, when he said the image or mentioned the image of the bike. When you're driving your bike or your car, for example, mechanically, so you're just driving. But if there is a bump in front of you, for example, or if you miss your way, so you might step back and ask yourself, what route should I have taken? What strategy should I improve next time? Is there a short way, for example, or in order to reach my home faster, for example? Is there a shortcut and so on? So yeah, you're trying all the time to reflect on your own learning. That's why metacognition is simply defined as thinking about your own thinking. Because we're human beings, sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we need to improve our strategies and techniques that we always use.
So,
Yeah.
Mr. Muhammad, let me add something here. Metacognition
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like the aha moment. It's like the moment you say, aha, now I understand how to do this. Not just now I understand the
exactly. Yeah,
lesson,
yeah.
or now I understand the word. Now I understand how to do it. And you remember the Chinese proverb, if you give me a fish, thank you very much. You have fed me for one day. But if you teach me
Yeah,
fishing, you have fed me for the rest of my life. So if you teach me
yeah.
metacognition, you have taught me how to listen and how to read and how to answer for the rest of my life.
So
Thank you
true.
so much. And I actually, Mr. Jamal, changed your name from Samsung to Ammi Jamal again.
Yes.
Yeah. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Okay. So any other questions, guys, about the task? Okay. So please, before you leave, scan this QR code and write your reflection about the task. And of course, I'm going to share the task or the PowerPoint presentation with Dr. Sarah so that she can share it
Allah.
with you guys.
Thank you, Mr. محمد.
You're
يعني
most
بجد
you're
I'm
most
so
welcome, Miss
impressed.
Mariam.
عارف إحساس إن
You're
هو
most
يعني
welcome.
impressed by the idea that a few words can really change the task completely. يعني بس لما
Yes.
نسأل السؤال بطريقة معينة we could make it completely different
Especially
task.
Dr. Sarah, you're teaching, mashallah, IELTS, so you can
Mm,
dramatically change the way you ask your students just to improve their listening, reading, speaking, and writing skills as well.
mm.
Yeah.
صح
It's
صح
definitely
that's true.
wonderful.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah,
mm,
yeah, yeah.
mm. But this means that some efforts, I believe, need to be exerted somehow. I mean, we
Sure.
have
Yes.
textbooks that we use to teach, but somehow we sometimes don't have to use the textbooks as they are. We do really need to adjust,
Yes.
edit, change some
Adapt.
instructions
Yeah.
to be able to
100%.
make it effective. Mm.
We have to do this all the time. We need to
Oh,
adjust and
true.
adapt because textbooks are not like Quran. We
Oh,
can
true.
sometimes add, yeah. We can sometimes add a lot. Yes,
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully,
you're
guys, you
most welcome.
enjoyed today's session.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, guys, for attending this session. And again, don't forget to leave your final reflection. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye
Goodbye.
bye. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad. Thank you very much, Miss. That was really enjoyable.
You're most welcome. I really appreciate your attendance, Mr. Jamal.
So
Thank you.
stunning as usual, Dr. Muhammad. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Most welcome, Dr. Hassam. Thank you so much for attending, and thank you so much for your fruitful participation all the time, mashallah. Most welcome, Miss Fatina. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you, Miss Mariam. Thank you so much, guys.